Hey, welcome back to Kanpai Gaming Podcast. Big announcements this month. Little one by me. I'm changing my name. It's no longer going to be Epics. It's going to be It's Maori. Reason for it, I feel like it flows better. I wasn't really crazy about Epic, and I can't trademark Luigi if we ever get big. Not saying we are, but one can dream. Back again, of course, with my man Chaotic up top. How are you, man? What's going on?
Doing pretty good. Just looking up. I just bought a new house, so you know, big big thing. So it's been taking up a lot of my time. I just focused on making sure that everything's good on that front. Uh, won't say where. Don't want to get doxxed, but that's yeah, it's really nice. I'm looking forward to this year, making sure that we keep on moving forward. Um, in gaming news, guys, you won't believe this. I played a shooter on PC for the first time.
Well,
And
sorry to interrupt. Technically, you played Valorant.
yeah, you're right.
And Halo.
Well, I use controller for Halo.
Yeah, but
Well,
Valorant was.
let
He
me
meant mouse and
rephrase. With
keyboard.
mouse and keyboard.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, that's a
Okay.
very big
So
distinction.
outside of Valorant, that's a three. It's a first-person shooter, but no one really aims into that game, unless you're
Yeah,
sniping.
it
Well,
was
so what game was it?
Rainbow Six Siege, and I felt like Valorant, like I had no control. Like it was very, it's chaotic,
Chaotic.
right? Yeah,
Hmm.
got him. But Siege, it's a lot slower. It's more tactical, so it feels heavier. You can really feel your movement as opposed to just zipping around everywhere in Valorant. And I've been playing on PlayStation for the longest time, controller. And a friend of mine told me he preferred the PC version. I just so happened to have it from a Steam sale. Never played the game as we often do with Steam sale games, but I tried it. I took some time tinkering with the controls, and I got it to feel like
Decent.
with that same weight
Yeah.
that it felt like. Obviously, the controls are smoother, and you can do a lot more on PC with Siege. But I'm telling you, like, I'm not that good, like even on the console version. But
Yeah.
I'll get 2 3 kills in a whole match. I was like 9 10 MVP, like headshots here
Nice.
and there. Like I was doing crazy stuff, and me and my friend, we're used to getting destroyed, and we just suck. We're trash. But this time we were feeling ourselves like, yeah, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing the console version again. Like I wanna stick to this because oh my
Um.
god, what have I been missing out on, you guys?
Yeah. Definitely.
Shame me. I deserve it because this is a long time coming. I should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
I
that's like
mean,
my one thing right now.
yeah. That's awesome, man. And I can only imagine what it would be like to go to COD as well. Just not saying that you are, but I do know that you have a brand new computer, and I'm sure you have the capabilities of doing that now. Um, doesn't hurt to test the waters. And then if you once you learn how to be fluid in that game, I'm sure it would help you out a lot with your Rainbow Siege
Yeah.
gameplay as well. We also have my man Taco downstairs. What's going on with you, man? How's everything going?
Nothing much. Just same old, same old. Working, playing maybe some video games here and there, being out and about. Although I was sick for quite a bit of time. That
A
was
Oh
month?
yeah, we all caught the Rona, didn't we?
all of us
Oh,
did, I think.
Eric,
Actually, I didn't.
the Coco. At one point.
I was
The
a year
boogeyman,
ago.
right? It was
Yeah.
it was hectic for me. Like, what is it? Late December to like early New.
Right around New Year's, right?
Yeah, not just right around New Year's, but like first week
Pretty
of
You
much
were
New
sick for
Year's.
like a month.
I was sick for like 3 weeks. I was had
Yeah.
back to back. It was you had the cold, and then I had the flu, and then I got the Rona, right?
And then
And
Ebola, right? The flu Rona
the
Ebola.
flu Rona. At this point, I might as well just like get everything in the book, right? But no. Um, Other than that, I did start playing this game called Control. It's very really weird, very weird, very cryptic, and other than that, working, just living life, just same old, same old. And oh, and I started playing Pokemon Arceus. That's a thing.
Nice. How's that so far?
I've only played maybe like 2 hours in, and the first hour was pretty annoying in my opinion because it's just constant cutscenes and people just trying to talk to you and explaining things and holding your hand. And
Yeah.
That's just a run of the mill Pokemon now.
yeah, that's just the new
They don't
Pokemon.
think you're good.
Yeah, they treat all their players like they're literal babies, and and you're like the stupidest person on this planet. But I mean,
Well, no, I mean, the reason that games do that, which a lot of games like that tend to, because they're trying to hit a younger audience that is learning how to read and adapting to the new way of gaming, and they have to do it because yes, we know how because we've been playing forever, but these kids that are coming in and like probably their first game of Pokemon, or maybe their parent was like, "Hey, this game looks interesting. Let me try it out for my son or daughter or whatever." Um, so they have to do that so that they don't push away new fans.
no, I
You know,
understand that
yeah.
obviously, but it's just something about Pokemon that doesn't feel fluid, right? Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of tutorial intro cutscenes. You know, like you have Halo. I mean, Halo. It's like completely apples and oranges, obviously, but um, what I'm trying to say is that there's fluid, right? It goes. It's not like okay, you're stuck. Stop. 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 Right? It's like I want it to flow like a river, not like consistently. Like oh, I want to go. Stop. Can I go there? Stop. You know, like it feels like that with Pokemon, and it's been like that since I think like since what like
Sun and Moon.
X and Y. No, it was like that since X and Y, I believe.
Nah, Sun and Moon was when it really
So
started to hold your hand
yeah,
with the
like
cinematics. I mean, I understand the fluidity part because when you played the pre Diamond Pearl and previous titles, they were sprites mostly. So, you kind of expected that blockiness, that choppiness, and when you saw the movement, it wasn't fluid, but you could kind of grasp what was going on. Um, and I think it was just par for the course with the type of animation they had. Now they still have that same kind of rigidness and blockiness, even though it's a 3D model. It might be more polished, but it seems kind of um, you're going into the uncanny valley where it's like, yeah, they look like people, but they don't act and
they're
move like
anime.
people. Yeah, more like erratic. It's just odd, right? It doesn't feel right. You see them run up full speed and then stop and then kind of like slide a little bit and then just like no one walks like that.
I mean,
Like,
sure, I guess, but like I mean, after you get part of like the main tutorial, like you know that introductions, how to catch Pokemon, tutorial, this and here, where you can go, what you can and what can't do, whatever. But after that,
wait,
like I think this
we
game,
forgot something, guys.
what
The most important thing.
Wow, good catch. Good catch. Kanpai, you guys.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Trademark.
Right, it's like we gonna blow
It's
that out
okay,
anyway.
it's reversed.
That makes it legal.
What you drinking there, Epic? I mean, oh wait, it's
Hold on, hold on, hold on,
no,
hold on,
no, no, I
hold
got,
on.
I'll get it, I'll
We
get
got
it.
a small announcement
Maori.
for for
Maori.
for
Well, he already said it.
I already said it.
All right, well, cut that part out.
Ah.
No, we'll leave that in.
Yeah, I
Come on.
changed it on my YouTube and my Twitch and all that, and probably whatever I make from now on, it's gonna be it's Maori, but people are just gonna call me Maori. It's not like someone has to come up to me like, "Hey, what's up? It's Maori," Like
Mhm.
no.
It's me, Maori.
But yeah, I'm excited about the name change because it actually correlates with my actual name. Um,
Got a sense of identity going on there, right?
which if yeah, exactly. Which if you know me, you know me. If you don't, maybe you'll meet me and you'll understand why. Um, but to get into our news, I'm pretty sure by now everybody already knows what's going
Everyone
on.
and their mom
But
knows at this point. I
we're
mean,
gonna be talking about Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft and everything that's going on with them.
a
Of
lot,
course,
yeah.
Activision got saved. They literally got saved by Microsoft, and for the past few months they were going through so much, right? Obviously it was their own fault, but Activision Blizzard, man, they really screwed up and they got off so easy. We can't forget what they did. We can't forget about the sexual harassment stuff and all the lawsuits that they were going through. But when you look back on it and you see what they had to pay, it was chump change for what they make.
I
They make billions of dollars a day, and they only had to pay $18 million for a settlement.
I mean, all of
It's a
us.
bunch of bullcrap,
I mean,
and
all of us
it's
even know this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like all of us even know this as well because of the fact that Call of Duty is the number one game of the year every single year, and it's been like this for a decade plus, right?
I mean,
Like
just like every movie is the number one movie in America. That kind of title just
no,
doesn't
like
mean
by sales
shit.
wise, like let's be honest, like
it hits. It's always the top of the
it's
top
always
of the
top
chart.
yeah.
it's always top 2 or 3 at least at the
Yeah.
very least, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and adding to the new situation that they had before we dwell into the Microsoft buyout is we have the Ravensoft and their situation and their employees. And for those who want a little bit of context, Ravensoft is a quality insurance and quality insurance department, not just department, but there's the quality insurance studio for Warzone
You mean
specifically.
quality assurance?
Quality assurance, yes, Q&A.
Oh, You,
The
you
Q.
said you said insurance.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Okay.
quality. Yeah,
I was like, why does Activision need insurance? Raven's top.
they got
Oh, they
billions
need
of dollars.
insurance, all right.
But I mean, so Warzone and its servers and its bugs and its updates, all of that is handled by Ravensoft, if I'm not mistaken. And to have most of their employees have a walkout and consistent strikes is it's just at this point is an open rebellion, right? And to say that these people don't matter and to treat them with impunity at this point is just unacceptable. And not only that, but they do it like right in front of us, and they don't care. And I mean, what is your take on this, you guys? Like, how do you feel? Like, I mean, these people getting paid minimum wage, treated like crap, and then they're at the point where like at this point they're walking out, they're having multiple strikes, and what does Activision do? They just either hide or just talk out of their ass, right? Like I mean,
I mean, it's too much of a nuanced topic to really limit it to that dichotomy, right? You can't say like, oh, Activision or Ravensoft, they're obviously dropping the ball, but like for what reasons? Like obviously they have the lawsuits, as Mauri said, and like you said, Taco, the quality of the games are dropping because they're refusing to work. Obviously, there's more to Ravensoft's employees leaving than just the shitty actions of the parent company. Like you mentioned, minimum wage is a very big issue right now. All
mm-hmm.
across the country, there's a lot of minimum wage workers, food service, retail, people just leaving in droves.
Labor shortages going on as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not so much that the jobs themselves suck, or obviously they have a lot of skill over there in Ravensoft and Activision, but it's the demand and the work environment that these people are under, especially in the gaming industry. I'm sure a lot of you in the audience are aware that it's very stressful. It's very
Mm-hmm.
demanding. Uh, Anecdotally, I have a few people that do work in the gaming industry. I have a friend that works in well, for Activision. He designs the weapon models for Call of Duty. Yeah, he works for Infinity Ward. That's all I'll say about that. But he's constantly working long hours and high stress. And from how long I've known him, I've seen the change. Like it definitely takes a toll.
Yeah,
The high demand.
definitely.
And another one, this he's an acquaintance of mine. He works for 2K,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked on NBA 2K and all those series of games uh, as a coder. And same thing. Long hours, high demand, crazy hours, and uh, it didn't affect him as much. But he would clearly complain about the stress. But the one gets paid quite well. Obviously, he's a coder. The other one, you know, decent, but not as much as he could potentially be making for the work that he does. Um, and it's more of like, okay, well, how much is equal and fair pay? Like, it's more than minimum wage, but you know, at what point do you sell yourself for your blood, sweat, and tears? You give up your life, you give your family, and for what? Like 60-hour work weeks for a skin, a
Right.
billboard on top of the game. Like that's you, but you're never gonna be recognized for that. That's not your work. That's Activision's work,
Right.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
How much is your
definitely.
time worth?
I mean,
Hmm?
I mean,
Oh,
no,
did
no,
you?
very well said.
Oh, I was.
No, no,
No, I mean, it's just. Sorry, I thought
no
Monty was gonna say something, but it is. I'll end it where it's more like there's so many factors, right? You can't really just say that Activision's all bad because obviously, they're in the hot spot right now because of what they did. But overall, like, it's still a company that employs millions of people. Yeah, probably hundreds of thousands of people. Let's not say millions.
hundreds.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's in the thousands.
it's in the thousands. We don't. We can't just say like it's all bad,
No,
right?
no, I
There's gonna be
understand. No,
some
no, no, I
good.
understand. But no, 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 I understand. I'm not even gonna like interject in that
I-
point. But what?
It's just too much to say.
Yeah, and I mean, what's his name? The CEO, Bobby Kotick, is his name, I believe. And what is it? He took a $200 million like a bonus to himself and laid off, I believe, like more than dozens of people just to take a $200 million like bonus or something like that. You know?
And
Didn't
that's
didn't
that
he
work
didn't he
environment.
leave the company though?
No, he's going to leave the company after the Microsoft deal is going
That's
to.
why so he is gonna leave. That's what I was gonna
He
mention
double
Okay,
too.
dipped. He
okay.
got a
So
bonus
let's
and he's
segue.
but
So let's segue to
Before
this.
hold on, before we get into anything else, do you think that Activision had this in the works, knowing that Microsoft was offering them a deal, so they did all of this?
no, not at all.
No.
Absolutely not. And
So pretty much Microsoft. Look, okay. So before we talked about this before the episode, and we kind of said our opinions, and I kind of have to. Well, before you get into it, you haven't said anything, but my thoughts on this is actually. I think Microsoft is genius for what they did. They saw Blizzard or Activision Blizzard.
In a
They
vulnerable.
saw how low they got and how low they were going, and it could only get worse for them. That they took advantage of this, and they bought them. They're gonna buy them. They're in the process of actually owning them, and just with that small process, Raven QA employees actually formed Activision's first union,
Yeah,
which is
actually,
which says a lot. Like just from Microsoft buying Activision, they've already formed a union. That is amazing. So hopefully all the like disgusting people who work for Activision are gone, and Microsoft can make Activision the best that it's ever been.
right.
So I think that even though Microsoft is pretty much becoming the Disneyland of video games, I think this is actually pretty amazing.
Okay.
Because what Microsoft has done with everything that they have so far, like Xbox, Game Pass, you know, even with the computer software that you run, like everything's amazing.
in Windows.
Right.
Yeah, Windows.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
So let's have a little discussion about this. Okay. Are you- what are you guys? We already know what we got from Maudi, but what is your opinion, Chaotic, regarding the consolidation of the video game industry and Microsoft, especially since they want the video game industry to go into a Netflix type of service structure as well, and also the constant what is it buyouts that Microsoft is doing. We saw them buy out Bethesda last year, I believe last year or 2 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, and
Mhm.
for $7 billion. Holy crap! But and then now we
Nowhere
have
near close to this acquisition.
10 times the.
Oh, like
Okay,
holy crap!
let me just reiterate this. $1 billion is so astronomical to just one person that it's like computing numbers in a scope of like I can't even explain it at this point, right? Now you got seven, and with this Microsoft Activision buyout, it being 68, almost $70 billion, right? And what is your opinion on the consolidation of this industry and the increasing push? And I wouldn't say push, but more of the increasing pull to monopolize the video game industry, right? And not only that, but we have Sony being sucker punched not just by this news, right? And do you want Sony to also buy out what is it, another studio? Like a lot of people are saying that they're going to buy out Square Enix, and in my opinion, I don't want the video game industry to be monopolized, right? And so I want to take it away with you, Chaotic. What do you think?
Well, I mean, well, to answer your the most recent question, I think it already is monopolized. You really only have four choices when it comes to your platforms. You have Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, and then PC, which you could argue is again Microsoft, but there's some leeway for independent game developers. In Steam, of course, with Valve. But at the same time, the time of console exclusives is pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't really had the scope of a console exclusive they had back 10, 15 years ago. Like you're not buying the console for the game anymore.
With the
Like with the
exception
only
of
exception
Nintendo at this
being
point.
sort of.
No, it is exactly right, right? Like Nintendo
Well,
owns a lot of their IP. I
y-
mean, Metroid Dread sold practically well in their opinion. Mario
but
Kart,
that like
right?
mostly to say like they don't have their flagship, right? Their flagship titles, right? Mario being the one, right? But you're not gonna buy a Switch to play Mario versus Rabbids. No, you're gonna buy it for Super Mario 3D or Galaxy or Odyssey or whatever. Super Smash Brothers. Microsoft, obviously Halo. Sony. You got a lot
Spider-Man.
of very. Which one?
Spider-Man. God of
Spider-Man,
Spider
War.
Man.
yeah, Spider-Man, Ghost of
God of
Tsushima.
War
But
was.
here's the thing about Microsoft, right? Is that
But those aren't like legacy. Those are one hit wonders, which is good. But it's like, okay, let me rephrase it. Obviously, they're still very good console exclusives, but you're not going there. You're not going to see a long lasting set of console exclusives anymore.
yeah,
You're gonna
I can
you're
agree
gonna
with
see
that.
a push for console sellers, but look at all the releases of Xbox, right? They it was supposed to be the Halo machine to launch with Halo Infinite, but delayed, right? So they lost out on that front. And what do they have?
Game Pass, which
That's not
you
a
know
game, but I mean,
I know, but with Game Pass alone, that's why people get Xbox. Outside
Yeah,
of
yeah,
absolutely.
you
PC,
can get that
obviously,
on PC.
like nowadays, okay, for example, like for me, right, it's impossible for me to get a brand new gaming PC because of where I'm at in life and the way that the world works right now, right?
Who
So
came
I'm
through for
never
you?
gonna, huh? Yeah, you came through for me, baby, but if you didn't, I'd be stuck like eventually just saying screw it, might as well get an Xbox,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you.
right? So that's why they have that's why someone would get an Xbox because they can't afford a PC.
No,
So
I feel that.
Yeah,
so here's my thing, okay? Wait, before I start, were you done with your thoughts on that, or did you
Sort
have a
of.
little bit more to add?
I was just gonna do a closer. Basically, like it is to say, like back in the N64, PlayStation, Xbox One, going even further, Super Nintendo, when on release, you had like 10 to 15 exclusive titles launched with it, right?
Yeah,
You had
Mhm.
really strong hard hitters. You had a multitude of them. What with PS4, PS5? What you had five?
See,
Those are rookie numbers.
yeah,
Come on, you
yeah,
gotta step
here's
it
the
up.
thing. Here's the thing, though, right? With the exception of Nintendo, it's still having multiple, exclusives on their end. See, Sony's exclusives are made by the studios that they already owned in the first place. In Microsoft, on the other case, they buy it and then make it exclusive, right? Like, even for Halo at this point, like I know it was only released on Xbox. I understand that, but they had to outright buy Bungie. I mean, not or buy the IP, the intellectual property at first before they started making their own thing with Halo 4 going forward. They bought Minecraft, Mojang, right? They bought the what is it the studio that makes Gears of War. Um, let me look it up right now actually, but yeah, they bought the
yeah,
studio. They bought the
I
studio.
get that.
Yeah, and then now they buy Activision, right? And so with obviously with the exception of Call of Duty, which is the biggest money making machine on like both consoles, that like
yeah,
and I understand where Maudi's going with this as well. That this might be a great like. Here's the positive side to this, right? Like, well, and my version of this positive side is the dead IPs might come back, right? Oh, we have Spyro, we have Crash, we have what is it? Other games that might be brought back to life and give more love because
That's a good point. But Crash used to be a Sony exclusive.
that's
Now it's
exactly right.
not.
Right.
It's on
So
Switch. It's on PC. Like you can go and buy it right now on Switch. Like
right,
that's like
right.
why am I gonna buy a PlayStation if I'm gonna
So
just download it on my Switch?
so with and so if we
Well,
backtrack,
I mean that just sounds so convoluted because it's like, oh well, God, he has a Switch and a PS5. What a dick.
let's back up. Let's back up a little bit. So we have Bethesda, right? And we see that Starfield, there is the Starfield that the next big project is going to be a Microsoft exclusive. So
yeah. But they're also keeping some of whatever deals that Sony has right now. They're gonna stick to those deals. They've already said that,
right,
and so from
All
what
of
I
them are
read,
doing anyway.
Activision is gonna keep making Call of Duties just for new gen for both systems for the next 3 years.
hmm
And then Activision, um, this is all just stuff that I've read online. I can't ever confirm if it's real or not, but
Do your own research, guys.
yeah, pretty much.
don't take our word for.
Microsoft wants to cut the 1 year rotation of Call of Duty. They're gonna most likely gonna extend it. So, which is amazing. And another thing that I was thinking too, why this might be a good thing, right? So now, when it comes to video games, you have outside of Nintendo, you have your titans, which is Microsoft and Sony, right? Microsoft is getting big, so that means that Sony is probably going to do whatever they need to do to catch up, right? But eventually, Microsoft is going to leave Sony in the dust. I'm sorry, but it's just true,
they
right?
already
Because they
have.
have,
They already. Yeah.
but that's my point. So now, um, Sony is going to has Discord, right? They partnered with Discord, and they're going to be able to get Discord on their PlayStation, which is awesome because people want to be able to have conversations and party chat and private chats with people from PC. So Microsoft will take everything, not everything, but a lot from Sony that helps out Sony a lot. That we might even get a possible collaboration between Sony and Microsoft because Microsoft has already announced, well, a long time ago when the Xbox Series X first came out, they were talking about this is probably they weren't even thinking about the Xbox Series X. They lost money on it, so they don't care about consoles anymore. They care about a streaming service. So imagine if we can get the same streaming service that we do for Microsoft on Sony. And I know that Sony's coming out with their own streaming service that were their form of Game Pass, but come on,
Yes,
I
now,
mean
right?
they tried it now with PS Now,
Well, they're
and
coming
it's
out with.
horrible.
Well, they're coming
And
out.
they're coming out with a new one, and
Yeah, Smart
because they're
TV.
trying to compete with Microsoft, and that's
Right.
my
Right.
point. If this crashes and fails and people hate it, their last resort is going to be to go to Microsoft and find out some way to collaborate with them, so maybe they can keep some of the exclusives that were on Sony or some of the games that were on both, but might possibly just go to Xbox to stay on Sony.
Yeah, like for example, like I'm against this whole buyout thing, but like I'm just gonna be honest, and I agree with you. And at the end of the day, I honestly think that what is it? The Game Pass is gonna come to PlayStation. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I
They
hope
already
so.
tried. Why do you think PS Now games are free every month? Like they're trying
right,
to test the waters, and clearly it works. But at some point, like you can't just pick and choose what's going to be available, and then have another service that you pay for that you're charging them a monthly subscription to play games that you gave out for free.
right,
Doesn't make any sense,
right.
right?
But
And
here's the thing, though, is here's two sides to this coin. Is that so when Microsoft, obviously they have Game Pass, they're making a lot of money. It's just what's his name? I'm not sure who the face is. It's not Phil Spencer. That's Sony, I think. Um, but he said,
we have a Microsoft machine called the computer.
but
We can look at it.
yeah. Uh, so when Forza came out, Forza 5
Sorry, I
Horizon,
didn't mean to
sorry,
be a dick.
yeah, but whatever. Anyways,
Rude.
well, you're
Tatiana
the one
Della.
that's being rude. But anyways, so a lot of people are subscribed to Game Pass, and it's sustainable, and it's obviously a steal, right? You pay $14.99 a month, and you get Xbox Live Gold, and you get like 200 games or what have you. Um, but the thing is even with Game Pass, Xbox sells FOMO editions of their games, and the first one was for Horizon. I mean, I'm sorry, not Horizon. Forza Horizon 5, right? And that thing sold
Can
in
you
millions.
elaborate on what you mean by that term?
From like early
FOMO.
early access edition. Like the Game Pass edition comes out
Oh,
5 days
okay.
later, and then the
Gotcha.
FOMO edition, or obviously like the early
Oh
edition.
yeah, like how Call of Duties have been doing that
Yeah,
early week beta for years. Yeah,
right,
yeah, I
right.
got you.
And it's been that sold, and it's going for like $70, and that sold millions, millions, right? And then we compare these games to Sony, and Sony also makes millions up with their games. Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, what is it, Uncharted, and what else is it, Horizon, right? And so when we compare these two, yes, Xbox has Game Pass, but Sony likes to pride in their quality of their, obviously their stereotypical third person narrative and their overhead shoulder kind of game. But so the reality is, even with Game Pass, people still buy in the millions of these games. Now, what I want to reiterate and ask you guys is, with do you think that at the end of the day, is Game Pass just going to be the thing, like just only Game Pass? Is it going to be like Netflix? Are there going to be multiple Game Passes? Are they going to be Game Pass Spartacus? What Nintendo's going to have? And is it going to be all consolidated onto their platform?
Okay. So I think we're missing a
Mm-hmm.
very important like perspective here. We're clearly talking about current generation of video game platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the past, right? But we're not looking into the future of it, right? At this point, getting an Xbox Series X or a PS5 is buying a gimped version of a PC,
Right.
essentially. That's locked. You can't use as an actual PC. At some point, we're just buying PCs to play games that are region locked, essentially, or DRM.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to be able to play Sony games on your Xbox, but you can play Sony games on a PC.
Which is
You know,
very very true because Sony is able to bring their games to the PC.
through Steam, yeah,
Yeah.
or other launchers. So that's the point. Like at some point, none of this is going to matter, and we're just going to look like a bunch of old fools ranting about stuff that doesn't matter anymore. And that goes to say, like, okay, yeah, you're right. At some point, Game Pass is going to destroy the market because it's still ridiculous that you're paying a subscription fee for online play on PlayStation, and Xbox, and now Nintendo, right?
Mhm.
And then on top of that, they ask you to pay for Netflix style subscription for their games to either play at a reduced price or pay for free.
Mhm.
Nintendo is charging you what is it, Marty? $30 for the N64 titles.
Hmm.
When
Oh,
you're paying
Not
oh
what?
worth
34,
it.
yeah, for one person.
Not
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
worth it. Get
No, not worth
the
it for
F
those,
out of
those
here.
For a year?
quarter century old games. Like, why would
Yeah.
I can like there. We've already spoken on this podcast
Well,
about
We
how many
already
tracks
spoke about it.
I
Nintendo's.
don't I don't blame Nintendo for that, to be honest. I mean, they have to figure out a way to, yes, make it worth it for us to want to get it, but at the same time, they're taking advantage of the nostalgic factor because bringing all these games as emulators, it's easy, I'm sure,
Oh,
no
it's
doubt about it, because there's so many
Obviously,
emulators out there in the world that give it to us for free. But we know how Nintendo works. They're like, I know that you want this.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we've
So I'm
said this
gonna hold on
before.
to it. And when you think about it, $34 a year for yourself, dude, you're paying $60 a year for PlayStation to play online. You're paying $60, $70 for Xbox as well to play online, on top of the service that you're getting. So it's not something that you're not used to. And on top of that, they're gonna keep adding more games and they're gonna keep adding more systems. And once they add the GameCube and all these other things, they might not increase it from 34. Then it's gonna be a different story.
Definitely
Then
not.
then you're gonna be like, oh, now it's worth it.
Oh,
But maybe they might make it $40. Is it worth it then? What if they made it 60? Is it worth it then?
absolutely.
To whoever has that, like for example, a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
They see these old style games and their dad's like, "Oh my god, I used to play that as a kid." Well, dad, I want to play these games they used to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna make people want to buy it for them,
Yeah.
to pay the $60 a year for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they're gonna re-release these classic collections again, like how they did with the Mario three, the three
That's
Mario
the thing
collection.
about the classic
Hey,
collection.
But
now.
but
No, no,
but
no,
here's
no,
the thing.
no. But
Hold on, before you, because I'm gonna continue on to the point what you were asking about, right? About the subscription service. Yes, it's the future of gaming,
Mm-hmm.
and Microsoft took advantage of the fact that they're the first ones to do it. It's like Netflix being the first one to start a streaming service, let's say, right? I'm not saying that they were,
That's why.
but
That's
let's
why we
say
call it a Netflix like.
exactly. But then you have Hulu and
Now you have
Prime Video
Then now you
and Paramount, and you have
And
all these
everybody
streaming
else,
services
yeah.
that are coming out because no one watches TV like that anymore. Nobody wants commercials.
yeah. And
So
they
it's
still
rare
give
for
you
some.
commercials now into the thing like on
Yeah,
Amazon.
but that's why you pay more to not have
But
commercials.
no, now you even pay
Oh,
more,
yeah.
and they still give you the commercials.
Well, it depends on who you have. But
Depends on
but
the show
but,
and
but that's what I'm
licensing
getting at.
issues.
That's what I'm getting at. So what Nintendo and Sony are doing is they're testing the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Sony kind of had it with PS Now, and now they're obviously trying to do their mirrored version or their, hey, you can copy my homework, just change it a little bit so it's different. You know, they're doing that with their service, and it's gonna be something maybe like how Microsoft. Maybe they can copy the way that Microsoft did it by saying, hey, the first month is $1, then the next couple months are this much, per month, or you can buy for the year, which people who like me, for example, I don't play that often, but I'm not gonna go buy a new game to not play it for years or months, right? So if I'm paying $10 a month for a whole year, that's $120. You buy 3 games, you're set.
Mm-hmm.
You played 3 games to complete it in a year, you're set because you've literally already made your money's worth.
Right. But the
And that's what I was telling Caldic here, to not buy Halo Infinite for just the campaign because it's not worth the $30 or $60 when you can literally beat it in 3 months and pay 30,
right.
and then still on top of that play other games and get your money's worth out of it.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna argue that because you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
It
very well said.
doesn't make any sense.
But my opinion, not just my opinion, but the fact remains is that Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft is a behemoth compared to Sony. They have the money and luxury that they're able to do.
That's fine.
Yeah, and Sony.
That's
doesn't.
fine because Sony still has like their own jewels.
Mhm.
They still have their own things that are making people lean towards Sony.
Exactly. which is
even now, a lot of the conversations that I have with people, even though Microsoft technically made a better system than the PlayStation 5, people still want the PlayStation 5 over the
right,
Xbox.
right. Which is
The
why I just
marketing.
said earlier is that the PlayStation and Sony and their exclusives are what people gravitate towards, right? And that's the biggest difference we have between Sony and Microsoft. And Microsoft at this point can just keep throwing money to the studios that they want to buy, consolidate them into their Game Pass, and sustain the Game Pass. Sony doesn't can't do that, and they're trying Spartacus to compete with Game Pass. And as much as I like Sony, I don't think they're going to be able to do that because of the fact that I don't think they can sustain it in the long run, right? And Nintendo, on the other hand, is a whole nother basket on its own, and because of the fact that in my opinion, I think Nintendo's making a lot of bank because of it. Look, top 15 games in Japan last year were all Switch games, all Switch games. Like, let that sink in for a second.
Well, yeah, because the
And,
eShop is the only one where you can buy like hentai games.
and no, no, and Nintendo
Like that.
Nintendo
Really?
never reports their digital sales either. They never report their digital sales.
Nah,
And
I
yeah,
doubt that. But
no, no, they don't. They really don't. Like you can
well,
go.
I mean, like we've been talking about the subject for a little bit now.
Right. No,
But
but
yeah,
it's
essentially,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you said this before actually, so I didn't mean to cut you off like that,
Hmm.
but I don't want to go on another
No, no,
tangent
no.
where
Go
we're
on.
rehashing the same thing. But at some point you got to understand that these titans, as you said, are supposed to fight. Let them fight. Like
Yeah, let them
let them
fight.
fight. Come
Let
on,
them
like
fight.
It's we're like with all three systems. We're like,
oh god, Godzilla. At that point you just got to let them do it. Let at this point you're picking your titan. Like in
but
the old
the thing is you want
Greek mythology, you
competition.
got your
Yeah,
four titans.
you
Let,
want
let them
competition in the industry because
exactly.
yeah, but it's not gravitating towards the competition. It's gravitating towards consolidation.
With that, at the end of the day,
Hmm.
right? You still have indie developers.
I
Whether
mean,
whether they get bought out in the long run, it's not really our concern. Hey, little man, it's not our concern,
Hmm.
yeah,
right? Because all you care about is quality games, right? And you got to ask yourself, what do you really care so much because you want to make sure that over the next 50 years, let's be generous, that every year you're going to play a masterpiece? Probably not.
Right,
They can't
right,
make a masterpiece every year. There was a couple of years, maybe you got one or two, as
hmm,
opposed to the 15 that we got when we remember in our childhood, like, all these games are great. And then you
right,
go back and play them, I'm like, this aged like crap. You know,
yeah, and the
it's all a
thing,
matter of opinion, right? It's
right,
subjective.
like Mario, like Super Mario 64.
yeah, which I
Yeah.
understand, right? The games are not
I
cheap to
couldn't
make.
play that game. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
couldn't.
I mean, I
I couldn't.
understand.
Yeah,
It
it didn't age well. I understand,
yeah, it
but
didn't. Really didn't.
Just
the thing
like
about
you
it,
can't play Fallout
yeah,
3, which in my opinion is great. All the Fallout, well, Fallout New Vegas particularly is really, really, really,
I'm
really great.
actually playing that right now too.
That's good. But to me, it's like
It
10 out
it
of
did,
10. It's great,
yeah,
but it
and it
does
did.
not age well.
Oh,
And
dude,
some people like Maudi over here, you just can't get into it, and I totally understand that. And it's each their own. But the point is, like you get what you want, and you play what you want because you enjoy it. The point is to
right,
have fun, right? I've been playing Dota for over 10 years. It's a free game. I'm gonna keep playing that shit. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best game in the world. And if I had to pay a yearly subscription, I would. People played World of Warcraft for over a decade. Like,
two
good
decades,
games
two
stand the test of
decades,
time, right? So you can make a masterpiece, and it'll be the most popular game for a while, right?
right, right,
Call of Duty is the reason it's still going on. Is because people keep buying it. They didn't change anything, and you still buy it. Why? Because people like Call of Duty
yeah. People
or X,
keep
Y, and
buying
Z.
it, yeah,
Yeah, and it's not so much that we're mindless drones. Like some people just like this type of gameplay. Let them play what they want. You
yeah,
can say you can be that purist. It's like, oh, this is shit. This is just copy. It's not as good as Modern Warfare 2 or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's for that little man in the background over there. It's for him to play, for him to enjoy. Like if
yeah.
you don't enjoy it, move on,
Yeah, like it's
right?
not like why do you care if someone's not enjoying something that you don't like, right?
Exactly.
It's
So
you're like that meme of that you're like the meme of Robert Downey Jr. He likes his game.
So going back to what you actually asked, um, notice that I got a little bling. Yeah, I do it like that. But yes, I definitely think that this is a good thing. And another, I'm looking at it from not just the obviously the gaming perspective, but I'm also looking at it from the competitive aspect, right? Because I tell people all the time, esports is my football. I watch Halo competitive. I've been waiting for it to come back and be amazing, and so far it's been really dope. I haven't got to. They don't really show you the open bracket games. They mainly show you, winners bracket and losers bracket. Barely losers bracket. Depends on whether it's a LAN tournament or online. But they've been doing really good with that, right? And I'm sure Microsoft had some part in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine what they're gonna do for Call of Duty and for Overwatch. I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I love it. No matter what game it is, I'm gonna watch it because it's always interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the competitive scene, I feel like Activision was completely ignoring everything that the professionals were asking for, right?
Not Nintendo.
Huh?
Not Nintendo.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows what Microsoft is gonna come and do for them? You know, it could either be good or it can be bad. But Overwatch pretty much, I don't want to say died, but it was in the
Dead.
process of dying.
No, it's dead.
Yeah,
Is it?
dead.
Yeah,
so
so
And not only
it's dead.
that, but Overwatch 2
But
fell into
but
great-
here's the thing. The reason that it died was because of all the scandals that Activision was doing, right? So they lost
No,
pretty much.
no.
No, it's because of the fact that the game.
Well, you're gonna let me finish statement just so we can kind of get
Whatever Overwatch had left in their bag, it didn't matter anymore because of all the sponsors leaving. So whatever they were gonna use that funding that they were making to help improve the game and make Overwatch 2 completely went out the window when all these scandals happened. They lost all that funding, and even now, the only reason that you see sponsors in Call of Duty is because the team is sponsored, not because of competitive. You don't see, at least from what I've seen from the first event this year compared to last year, there's no commercials. There's just a pause time where it shows previous gameplay. Because back then it was ad after ad after ad after ad because of all the sponsors that they had. And at first I was like, I hate this. But even now, like I prefer no ads, but I think that Microsoft can bring back a lot of the sponsors that they lost, and on top of that, get them way more funding than they had before, which will make the competitive scene just that much better.
Right, right.
Let me ask you, when was that? What year? Where you felt like it was good that they had all those sponsors and you, even though you saw a bunch of ads, you were grateful for it. What year?
Well,
Like, how long ago was it?
I can only say 2 years now because
2 years?
2 years ago is when the league started.
Or even before that, because now Call of Duty's been around longer than that.
No. The Call of Duty has been around.
Like,
No, I mean, okay, what specifically
There
were you
was
talking about?
no commercials because it wasn't. Yes, it was sponsored and people were paying for it, but it wasn't an actual league how you see football or how you see soccer or any of these sports.
Mhm.
Now it's an official league.
Okay,
Like
so,
in Halo, you don't see commercials. You just see them talking, and then they do interviews, and then they do their desk, and then that's it.
Mhm.
There's rarely any wait time just from the few tournaments that I've seen already.
Yeah, and
I
like
think-
the
I
one
think
with
maybe
Ice
you
Out
were-
yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's your personal stuff, but like, I think at some point maybe you were exposed to like, I'm not saying it's bad, but like in terms of marketing and sponsorship, like the worst.
Oh, I
exposure.
hated it.
Yeah,
I
well,
hated
mean,
it.
that's like the worst
It's-
model you can have.
Yeah,
Like, for
definitely
example-
because
The whole point of people
The-
even
the
moving
way that it
away
was
from these things in
the
first
way the
place.
way that it was back then was you had 3 different streams streaming different stages in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Each depending on where they were at, whether it was pool play or losers bracket and winners bracket, they had different stages for it. So they had different streams.
No,
So
I
you can be like,
understand
oh, there's some delay here. I'm gonna go to the other stream and watch it. But because it became a league, they had to make it just like a league. Where in football, there's a pause, there's commercials, there's commercials, and that's what the league did. And I hated it, but I understood. This is what they've been working so hard to do to make it into a league, and this is just what it became. And the beginning of it wasn't the best.
Mhm.
And but that's just like with anything. The more you grow, the longer you do it, the more polished it becomes.
Mhm.
So now with Activision, I mean, sorry, not Activision, with Microsoft backing Activision, if Overwatch can somehow make it back into the competitive scene, because I know that it probably can. It has the fan base, it has the players that want to do it.
It definitely does have the fan base and the players who want to do it. The question is they're doing that Blizzard or Activision Blizzard at this point is doing very minimal for Overwatch, and they're trying to release Overwatch 2 with like, I mean, we
No,
don't need this, right?
it's been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
definitely.
yeah,
It's they
and
might as well just say it died. Now,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you make a great point, and
no,
I was actually going to go into that a little bit when I mentioned that Maudie's been exposed to the worst model of sponsorship, right?
hmm
That back then it made sense because esports, ooh, man, you even say the word esports, people think you're a joke.
yeah, they cringe. I don't
Esports
know.
was not serious in 2018,
And
2019,
then they see the
like
payout
with
money
the
like
exception.
34 million
Well,
dollars in Dota.
not even that. Well, you got to thank Valve for that. Hale Gavin and Dota 2 because they set the stage every year with the highest prize
hmm
pool in esports, guaranteed, because it's crowdsourced, right? You can say it's a fool's errand to be like, oh, you're paying for this? Like this comes from the players. Like Valve's not even playing, and they make billions of dollars a year. Like yeah, but it's because we love the game. We're willing to support the livelihood of the pro players that we're so eager to watch,
hmm
right? And Valve, while they do pay, their staff and the venues and all that stuff, at the same time, like we're reinvesting into our game. Like for example, the prize pool for the last year's CI was about 40 million, right? And
Jesus.
that's 25% of the total revenue from the battle passes that Valve made from Dota 2 for that year.
Hmm.
So in reality, they made 120 million and 41 of the players, right? So that means they had another 80 million to play with. So
hmm
wait,
Yeah, and
no,
I watch a lot of the Optic
yeah, 16. My
podcasts.
bad. I'm bad. I'm bad.
I'm a huge Optic fan. I have been since Black Ops 2. When I watched Scumpy and Nate Shot stream, and they talk about a lot of their concerns, and let me see, where was I going with this? Fuck, I had a brain fart.
All right.
Don't worry about it. Like, so I'm gonna continue and say, like, Valve, the reason why it works so well is because it's a different model, right? So back when esports was a joke outside of MOBAs, Fortnite, they needed Ninja, they needed Dr. Disrespect for all that stuff, right? They needed
Hmm.
names
Hmm.
to pull in the
Yeah,
crowd,
yeah, yeah.
and they were already sponsored. They didn't need sponsors on their own, but they did because they wanted to minimize losses. If nobody watches, you're out the whole millions of dollars. Even
Yeah.
because you have to pay Dr. Disrespect. He's not going to
Right.
come in for free. You need to pay Ninja. They paid him like what, $50 million to go to Mixer instead of Twitch.
And one
Dude,
year
these
he
guys get
made
paid.
like a couple billion in one year. It
Well,
was
yeah, I mean,
crazy.
it's huge numbers that we don't
Yeah,
even fathom,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's like if they make them this much money on their own, obviously they're going to get paid if Sony,
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, or any other league
Yeah,
pays them to show up, right? So
definitely.
esports needed the names to bring in the crowd. MOBAs, they don't need that. League doesn't need that. Dota doesn't need that, right? So they don't actually. Well, I'm not sure about League because I'm not a League person. They probably have sponsors, but Valve, they don't have any commercials because it comes from us. It comes from the players,
Yep,
right? The players pay
They
yep.
directly pay the
salaries for
league.
the pros, so
Yeah.
they don't need sponsorships. They don't need commercials. There are zero commercials for TI for the international. Right, any sponsorships that show up are from the teams, as Mauri said. Right, that makes perfect sense. If you would go and watch the teams individually, go on their site, support them, it goes. There's obviously the sponsors, and you support their merch, you buy their stuff, all that stuff. Streams, same thing. But for the early days of esports, they weren't willing to take the risk for the loss, right? For Call of Duty, Monster, Red Bull, all these sponsors, they
Mm-hmm.
asked them, it's like, hey, can you sponsor us so you can, at least cut the costs? Because if this fails, which it did, let's be real, Halo 3, all the Halo esport tournaments, Call of Duty,
Machinima
that's
Days,
all,
LG,
it's all
man.
bottom tier compared to MOBAs and other
Yeah,
online
I mean League of Legends. What
leagues.
was that new League of Legends copy that they made in like what is it, Korea
Oh,
or
Heroes of
something?
the Storm, that shit
Yeah.
was dead. But that was just mismanagement and poor quality
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
That's a different story entirely. But in terms of sponsors, it was a bad model. Like maybe now, you know what? Why it's probably no commercials anymore? It's probably because they don't need to any. Like you have loot boxes to bring in that revenue. It's like, dude, they have so much
Yeah.
money, they can
Yeah.
literally throw it away and
Definitely,
not care.
definitely.
So
Hmm.
I think the platform
And
for sponsorships have changed because
yeah.
of all the monopolization, the consolidation of all these gaming companies.
Mhm.
They can do whatever they want
Yep.
with minimized risk.
Yeah.
Yep. And before you talk Taco, sorry for interrupting
Go
you.
ahead.
Um, Going back to the point that you're making about Valve and how the money that's going towards the tournament is from us, the supporters. Going back to what I was getting at, where I forgot about Optic Podcast, Hex was always talking about, uh, just something simple like having a skin that says f hackers and all the funding that goes into that, even if it was to be 40%, 30%, put that into an anti cheat, put that into something to help the game not be broken anymore. Exactly.
There you
So
go. There you
Yeah,
go.
it's
with
true.
Microsoft, if they decide like, hey, look at these huge names that have gone from nothing to becoming huge just from this game alone, or from whatever it was that they did, they're asking for this, and if they think that it could be make our game better, why aren't we gonna do it? Activision didn't listen. Maybe Microsoft will.
Right. I understand
I
that.
So if, let's say, with the battle pass and everything that they're making from Warzone alone, I can only imagine if they decide to do something like that, where maybe not bring back loot boxes, maybe if it's cosmetic only, pray to God, uh, they can definitely do something amazing with it.
Yeah, no, very well said. I mean, but at the end of the day, like I'm gonna have to disagree with both of you because of the fact that no, I'm not the whole. Listen to me. Let me.
very well said, but you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Very well said. You're wrong, but opinion
Nah,
wise,
obviously,
no,
I'm just,
the
I'm just
fact
Oh
touching.
that
no. Anyways,
no, you had, oh, this
Go
guy did
ahead,
this.
Sayako. I'm sorry.
The thing
but
is
yeah,
that
to what you were saying.
so the consolidation of the industry is gonna squash out competition between each other, right? And no, absolutely agree that like everything has been it's very rapidly going to the direction of being monopolized, but the games are competing directly with each other, right? Like there's still the word being thrown around, like Souls like game, like, and a lot of games try to copy Dark Souls, like Neo and Code Vein, and those games do very well, like, but you know what I'm trying to get here, right? Just flies over.
All right,
Like,
what are those games?
let's take a step back. So we have Halo, and then we have Killzone. Killzone advertised itself as the Halo killer, right? And we have other
Suicide.
yeah, pretty much. And so and then not only that, but if Call of Duty and Halo are under the same umbrella, then where's the competition between that, right? The software is being
Oh,
Why does there need to be a competition between it?
that's
My
that's an
question to you.
argument as
Why?
old as time, bro.
Yeah,
Since it came out.
but my question to Taco is, why does it need to be a competition? It's like saying soccer and football compete.
That's a very easy answer. It's
So
quality. It's quality.
exactly.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, just because they're under the same umbrella doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing when it comes to competitive, because
No. It has nothing to
no
do
one
Oh
with
well, I
cares,
mean that's a
no one
different
cares,
reason,
It's a different thing.
no
I'm
one
talking
cares
about.
who owns it. What matters is the quality of that esport.
No. I'm not talking about
Well, you
esports.
could have a really good game and have a shit esports.
No. I'm not
Like,
talking.
Exactly,
Yeah, I'm not.
exactly. But
well,
it all depends.
right,
Like look at
there's like
Dota.
apples to oranges.
Okay, so
Oh
for
shit.
example, look at
Oh, I know
Valve.
he's gonna go with this.
Look at Valve. Valve
Shots
is
fired.
huge,
Shots
right?
fired.
But they're not part of this conversation in the topic of Microsoft and Sony. Why? Because
Sure.
they're doing their own thing. They don't care about this competition. They don't care about competing. They just like, Dota's our main thing. People love it, and our fans are gonna support us no matter what.
No, I'm not talking about esports though.
Well, I mean, you make a
But
great
that's the
point.
example you were making
That's a
at
result.
first.
No. I'm trying to.
No, not quite. I think I got a kind of got an understanding of what Taka was trying to say, right? Like it may not be so good over the long term because you reduce the quality of the games that come out, right? When you have all these different platforms and not industries, developers making the same types of games, you have 10 options. Which one's the best option, right? They're going to fight each other to not only give you the best quality, but make it look good, make it affordable, and make it long lasting, right? So make sure you keep playing the game, right? Then it forces them to make the
Yeah.
best possible game instead of rehashing the same old shit, right? But if you only have two competitors, they're gonna be like, maybe I want to try this as hard this year, maybe I don't, right? But you're still gonna buy because you only one of two
That's
options
the only
available.
option, right? Available, right?
Yeah,
That's the that's I mean, basic
but I
term
mean,
monopoly.
in a bubble that makes perfect sense, but we have to understand that just because the parent company is buying all these studios doesn't mean that there's not competition, right? They are the parent company, and yes, they have the final say overall, but these still are their own studios that have to do their own types of game, their own work, their own art, their own IPs. Like, there's a reason why all these IPs that have been bought out, like Mojang from Minecraft, they still have their name on that game, right? They may have been bought
Right.
out, but it's still a Mojang game. Everybody knows that, and it's under a Microsoft umbrella. Like, it's a top, but it's still encompassing the studio, right? Unless the studio goes bankrupt, which is what happens when they don't get bought out, they're still going to be on the record. It's still their game, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll use a different example as well. It's like Elon Musk, right? He owns Tesla and SpaceX. I always say that because I work for SpaceX and I love it there.
But that was a
But
breakaway, not a
yeah,
merger.
he's shilling for Musk.
but what I'm saying is, no, I'm a fan of Musk. I'm very
I'm
happy with
saying,
what he's
like,
doing in
if
the world.
Musk ever sees this podcast, he's like, Marty, you're fired. You talk shit about my
No,
company.
no, and I'm actually not gonna talk any smack about them at all. What I'm saying is,
Yeah,
Elon Musk owns both, right? But he's not there nitpicking everything. He has the idea, he brings it to light, and he trusts his company to do it.
Well, that's
He
because
does he does go
no,
and
that's
make sure that everything's working properly and that everything's running smoothly
that's
and it's going to his plan. But at the same time, he's letting the people who are managing it take
but that's because of the
that
fact that it was a
it's
breakaway, not a merger, right?
no, no. I mean,
No.
he make it's comparable, but it's not a. I mean, it's a bit
You're
of
the
a reach. I
financial
understand what you're
expert
saying.
out
Well,
of all of us,
I'll
so
bring it back and I'll try to rephrase it so it makes more to what Marty was saying. Essentially, they still have to make the type of game. Like, just because under Microsoft doesn't mean it's going to be the same old crap, right? They still trying to make new stuff. They're still trying to make exclusives, quote unquote, for what it's worth. They're still trying to make new games, new good games.
mhm,
And I think while you're right, less competition overall, right? There's still three more Titans, right? One falls, three more available. Still overall competition. And if you talk about the scope of a genre, right? Shooters, right? They can bring out they can bring the next Halo. They can bring the next Call of Duty. Just won't be called that, and we won't know. We have yet to see. If it doesn't work, then now we can hope that because Microsoft and all the praise you gave it with Game Pass and the move to PC and remasters and crossplay, all those good things, that they know what the gamers want, what the gamers love, and what they're looking for, and they're
okay,
working for it. Right?
okay,
You
so
gave them
Definitely.
all this praise. Let them do it. Right? Let Microsoft buy. I want them to buy these properties because they know how to make quality games for the most part. Some fall here and there, but they know what the gamers want for and what we would like. So let them do their work. We'll see in a few years if they actually put their money where their mouth is, and let's see if we get good quality games. Like, I'd rather have them take Call of Duty, keep the contracts with the crossplay and everything, cross-platform.
mhm,
But as
mhm,
Marty said, you know, they're cutting the yearly rotation out. Good. I want quality Call of Duty. I want there to be a Modern Warfare 2019 to upset the crap that we've been receiving for the last 5 years,
right, right,
every other year or whatever the schedule is. I want them to delay it to give you a good product. I
mhm.
don't.
Yep.
We said this before in the podcast, but I'll reiterate again. I will gladly take a delay for quality any
Right.
day.
All
I
of
don't
us
care
would.
what property it
Yeah.
Yeah.
is.
So let me take a step back and reiterate that no, with your TLDR is
No, I
that
mean, like,
the
drop the
fact
mic. Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
when you when it's being pulled into Microsoft, you're trying to say is that because of the fact that now they're under this big daddy kind of corporation that they're able to sustain a delay or they're able to sustain the quality, right? Now, I am very skeptical and very pessimistic about this because of the fact that we have a company called Disney that exists, and how they acquired Star Wars, how they acquired Marvel, and how they acquired Fox, and when they all acquired into that studio, you see the same formula being used into the movies and to the projects that they're happening. And that's just this is probably just my anecdotal experience. Not
No,
maybe
you're making a point, but like it's a valid point.
well,
However, you're going from
let me
apples and
reiterate
oranges to
this.
apples and pears.
No,
Like,
but let me reiterate this. And so when before Marvel Studios was bought out by Disney, like we had the first Iron Man all the way up to like Avengers, right? I mean, let's see. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a Gen Oneer here or anything like that, and I do love most of. I mean, I loved Endgame, right? I love that, and I love Infinity War is probably like my favorite movie ever. But you see the sameness in these games, right? But or you see
yeah,
the sameness,
no,
like
I get you,
like for
man.
example, like one Loki, like Loki, the character. This fool will literally go out and just say, "I'm just gonna murder you. You screw your family, screw this." He was like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Well, I mean, you made your
Here,
point already, but I'm like, this Loki thing is like, I don't know what the fuck you
here,
talking about.
here's
but
where
here I'm going
I'll
is just that now we just see the same like one hash jokes that are just being repeated across
You,
all
you
the
mean it's formulaic?
yeah, very formulaic. Like, oh, in Star Wars, you just have the little at the moment at
I
the
don't
moment
I don't
jokes
think
that
that's because of Disney. I think we've been so desensitized to the superhero genre that we start to see it now. Or you're
well
just
because
like,
there's so
okay, I'm
many of
tired
them,
of.
right?
No, but you can say that about every genre, right? The 80s had action movies, horror, right? The 2000s had those shitty college
Horror
comedies.
movies, yeah, you know, but the horror
No, the
movies,
comedy, like
or like
how
American
many
Pie.
American
American
Pies did
Pie,
yeah,
all those,
yeah,
yeah.
and all they do. 2000s was littered with that garbage. But we went and they kept making it. We kept seeing it until we were like, you know what, this is bullshit. We don't want it anymore,
Very
right?
Yeah,
fair point.
I definitely
Very
I
fair point.
definitely agree with chaotic there because
Very fair
these
point.
these companies have already been making these games for so long. They know what it takes to make these games. All Microsoft is doing is giving them that breathing space to be able to perfect their game and the funding for it.
Right? And
I mean,
and
you
to
guys
make
have
it nail the
And
coffee,
when it
I'll
comes
say
and
this.
like how chaotic said, it is formulaic when it comes to movies because when you want to make a movie, you need a certain pattern that's gonna make sense, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right,
And
it's
that's
the
how
hero's journey for most of this crap.
right,
that's
right.
Mark comparing Microsoft and Disney together, like that's
Yeah,
completely like
it's two
apples and
different
oranges,
worlds.
dude. You can't really compare them in the sense because Disney has this like bright and colorful like outside, but in the inside they're fucking horrible corporation.
Right, and that's a whole nother
Yeah,
topic
and that's a
entirely.
whole. We're not getting into that. I'm not trying
But
to
to put
get
the nail in the
struck.
coffin on
I'm
this,
trying to
I'll say that.
reiterate.
Hold on, Taco. Hold on. I'll just say this because this. You both make good points, and the references you made to what the other said was great. I'll say that Disney becomes formulaic, and you can see it across all genres in film, right? But at the same time, you were just complaining about how Call of Duty was the same old rehash every year,
But think,
and people still buy it, right?
but
They
think of
make the
it this
same
way.
superhero movie
But
from Disney
right.
because people still go and watch it.
But
So they're
think
gonna
of
keep
it this
making it
way.
because we keep going and
Think of it this
watching
way.
it.
The 2000s was littered with those movies, but they were not consolidated into one. You know, they're consistently competing with each other,
But they
right?
were made the same way. The whole point is that it doesn't matter who made it. The genre got boring because we were desensitized to the surprise and the rush and the oh my god, that's amazing feel that we got with the first set of movies that blew us away.
Right, right,
Eventually you get bored
right.
and
I
you
mean,
start to see like your everyman's gonna see the cinematography, the steps, and all the skeleton of what it is to make a movie. At some point, you're gonna start to see the bits and pieces here and there, and eventually you'll feel like this is a trope. Obviously there's so many tropes out there, and they keep being reused, and
uh
you
huh,
think they're cliche, and you're like, oh, this is still bad because it's a trope.
uh
No,
huh. Yeah,
you're gonna see it everywhere. There's
I
no
get you.
escaping it,
I get
and
you. I guess I
and
get.
and
I mean,
and and the formula they use is the same in every genre,
no, I get
right?
you. I get you.
You-
Like
If you
I.
start thinking about it that way, you're never gonna enjoy another movie. I'm telling you now,
No, I mean
you're
Yeah.
never gonna enjoy anything if you read
I
too much into it. You
I
need to be
guess.
like, okay,
I
like,
guess at the end of the day, though, it's just.
ah, man,
But
I'm telling you, just don't
no, I
think too
understand.
hard
No, I'm
about it
not.
because you're gonna hate everything you see.
What,
Telling you, man.
okay, both. I mean, very fair points, right? And at the end of the day, and apples and oranges comparison aside, is I'm just seeing this as the glass half empty, and you guys are seeing this as the glass half full. And before we even steal our opinions, we're just gonna have to see how in the next coming year or two
It.
how this how
How about this,
You're
Taco?
you're
We'll
scared
just
of the future,
we'll
right?
just go
yeah, I am.
with
I'm just saying.
the good old saying, "Only time will tell."
Yeah,
Mm.
that's exactly what I'm
It,
just trying to
that,
say.
that's the only way I can look at it. The only time will tell. It's either gonna go good or it's gonna go bad. We'll never know. And if it does become the Disney of video games, hey, you know what? I don't see that many people complaining about Disney acquiring all these companies. I really don't.
I do.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure that there's always going to be the good and the bad and the pros and the
Right,
cons and the
but
people who are
I
for it and the people who are against it. So it's going to be like that for this, and we can only hope for the best.
Well, I mean, for example, right? Why? We brought up a really good point early in the episode that we never really touched upon, and that was the opportunity of Microsoft being able to buy Activision Blizzard. Why would did this happen? Like, did they plan it out, like Maudie said, or was it just opportunistic? And
I'm pretty sure they
I
planned
don't.
it out. The moment they
No,
like
because there's no way. Like from the moment that the lawsuit
I, I'm
started, that's
I'm
when they
not
started doing it. There's no way they could have done a buyout that quickly. It was more
that
of like, we're your only out. Take it or die.
that is a very fair point, and I absolutely agree with that. I think that's one of the factors into this buyout. But what I want to reiterate the fact is that the moment they bought Bethesda was
That's so long ago.
no, I understand that, but that they're trying to dig their claws into something as big as Activision. Now, was it, if it's going to be Activision or not? Then how you just made your point, saying that because of the fact that Activision is having the scandal going on, that this is the perfect opportunity to come in and scoop them and buy them.
Yeah, because they're cheap.
Ex- it,
Well, I mean,
$70 billion is not cheap.
yeah. Well, hold on. Like, we're comparing apples to oranges. I'm poor as shit, but Microsoft is rich as fuck, right?
Right.
Like to them, it's chump change, because they're not paying in cash. They're
Mhm.
paying in assets and futures and stuff like that. How do you come up with this
What's it?
number? A lot of it's you take the assets, right, but at the same time you're talking about the IPs and the potential revenue they can make for you.
Yep.
That's how they come up with this number. It's like
Yep.
it's more of
They're
a
gonna
like
make that back real quick.
we want $70 billion because we have Call of Duty, which you
Right,
got.
right.
Right,
Okay.
you got Halo. It's like, oh, you want both? All right, you're gonna pay us a lot of money. Yeah, they're on the dumps now, and then Microsoft is like, okay, we'll buy you out because now your stock is crap. Your stock
Right,
dropped like
right.
40% in a week. Like
Insider trading. Buy
maybe,
Activision. Buy 1,000 stocks of
well,
Activision. We're gonna
and
jump
then
up
they
30
bought it,
30%.
and then they
You
bought
know?
it for cheap, right?
Yeah,
No, I
definitely.
understand. Look, the thing with this, I mean, I'm just
Well,
very
so I just to close it, so I don't have to go back to it. Like
right,
they bought
right,
it for the
right,
cheap. They jumped on the shark and be like, hey, we'll buy you out on the
right.
cheap.
And
Right? And
I
it's like,
honestly
what's
would have
cheap
thought that,
to
yeah,
Activision Blizzard? They
they
probably like, oh, they're bluffing. We want $80 million. Mike's like, all right,
80
There
billion.
you go.
cool.
80
Hey,
billion.
all right. I said billion.
100 times.
Oh, you said million, but it's cool.
Oh, because I wanted to do
So
million.
Taco, make your final point on what you think,
Yeah,
and
That's
well,
chump
yeah.
change to them, man.
I'm just here to agree to disagree.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am very pessimistic on this deal, and like both of you said, that we're just gonna see what the future holds. But let us look at the positive side of this, so this is not all doom and gloom. So we do have these dormant titles waiting, sitting there with Activision. Do you guys think that Microsoft is going to, you know, put their care, as you guys reiterated just earlier into the episode? Like for example, I understand. Like for example, Crash, right? Like let's say Crash, a new like would you guys think that there's gonna be a new Crash, there's gonna be a new Spyro, of these mascot characters that's been lying dormant with Blizzard and Activision, right?
yes,
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
yes,
Because
definitely.
as they agreed, not only with the main one with being Call of Duty, that was the big ask, like what's gonna happen to Call of Duty. I think that they're gonna leave because that's too much to manage, right? They're gonna delegate the responsibility to the individual studios. You're working on this title, keep working on it. Good, make us more money. We don't care. Like if it's good property, by all means, go and do
What you
your
need
work.
more time? Take it, take it.
Take
We
it,
don't
right?
care.
We as a
Make it
parent company,
perfect. Make it
how much
perfect and
money?
make us the
Here you
most money
go.
we can.
Yeah,
right.
they don't care. They're not
Yeah.
gonna micromanage like, oh, you're Spyro. Well, we're Microsoft, so we don't want you to make Spyro games anymore. They're not gonna fucking do that. I'd be like, oh,
I mean,
Spyro, bro,
the
let's bring back
Activision
the
did
Spyro
that though, right? So fair
because
enough.
Activision's dumb
Exactly,
and now they went
exactly.
bankrupt and got bought
And
out.
all the teams
Well, they
that
didn't
they have, they
bankrupt. You know what I mean?
consolidated just for Call of Duty.
Well,
Ravenloft,
But
well,
they
we
they
can
they
we can we can we can definitely say Activision has made some bad
major
decisions,
mistakes.
made.
Oh man.
And
and you
but
know,
okay, so let's look at the good for this. So the team that made Crash 4 disbanded. They got absorbed into the Call of Duty
Activision.
yeah. And so I so if we
Call
can
of
look
Duty
at
owns Crash.
right, we get Crash skins in
Yeah,
the
good.
game or whatnot. But think of it this way. So if this does become a good thing, and just like how you guys say that this is going to be a great thing, I do want to see Crash revived under the Microsoft, Microsoft money, right? I want to see Spyro revived under Microsoft's money. And if they're going to do it, if they're going to
Yeah.
do it right, I will absolutely welcome this.
next thing you know, Sony's gonna buy Sega.
No, no, believe it or not, Microsoft is actually talking with Sega right now.
They
Well,
don't.
there
They
you go.
don't. They don't need to
And
buy Sega. Sega
it,
doesn't
they,
need saving.
Because think about it,
it
They
doesn't need
figured it out
the
saving,
years
Yakuza
ago.
series was
but what Sega can, well, I mean, they can always collaborate with either one,
they
and
can, but let me. I'm sorry, let me just stop you for a second. Sonic, other than Sonic, right? Like Sega, when we think of Sega, we think of Sonic, but actually the biggest hits are the Yakuza series, the biggest hits. And
Well, as you said
these,
before, in
the,
Japan, they're such a big fucking deal.
no, 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 they're big deal here, not Japan. Here, Yakuza series.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
No, no, no. Look it
that's
up.
okay.
The
I'll give you the
Yakuza.
benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
because
And
that's something that I'll admit I don't know much
the
about.
thing about
But
the
I
Yakuza
know.
series is that it was a PlayStation exclusive and it was hard, very strict on PlayStation. Microsoft is now all the games are now in Game Pass. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
Think of it this way. Think of it this way.
that's a good thing.
Imagine
Yeah,
something. Yeah, yeah.
that's a good thing.
Just
Im-
like, what do you
no,
mean?
no, no. I'm
That
just
doesn't
saying,
sound
like,
terrible at all.
think of it this way. Think of it this way. Like, imagine something very strictly guarded of something that's like Nintendo games now on Game Pass. Like,
That's fine.
no,
That's great.
no, I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying like, but think of the reality we live in. This is happening now, right?
This is what I said that earlier. I was like, just think of the
This
future.
is this is a game.
We're
This
gonna
is
look
what
like a
we
bunch of
dream. I'm
boomers
sure
talking
this
about
is
it
what we
doesn't
dreamed
matter
about.
anymore.
Yeah, this is what we dreamed about. This is like what we're hoping for. We're hoping so that we don't have
One
to
place
go
to
and buy
get
all these
good
damn consoles.
games.
We don't have to
This
be like,
is what
oh man, I want to
Steam
play
is
these
supposed
games.
to be.
Both of your points
Exactly,
is exactly valid,
exactly.
and I completely
So
understand what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we like? It sounds like we're trying to play devil's advocate here and be like, oh, what if this, what if that? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's the point. Like, we don't care who owns it. Like, we just want to play good
this is
games,
the world that we live in. Stream based everything.
right? And in the end,
And guess what? We're gonna pay for it. Whether
yeah,
it's $10, $20, $30. Dude, Netflix is going up to $20, and there's still people
Oh
that are
my
like,
god. Yeah, people are
I'm
still
gonna pay for that.
yeah.
I don't care because
I'm
people
guilty of
love
this
it that
too,
much.
like
let's be real. Which one? Who here doesn't share your Netflix account? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Exactly. And we've all been dreaming it. We've always talking about this, hoping that Game Pass that we can like, oh, we can have 3 accounts on Game Pass and share it between the 3 of us. Unfortunately, we can't. But if we could, we would.
Mhm.
Right, and
And if we can get other companies to either make their own or collaborate with either Microsoft or with Sony with what they're doing with theirs, we can, and I'm not saying like be like Microsoft where their Halo came out and then the next day it's on Game Pass. No, maybe give it like a month or 2 or maybe even 3 months where they're like, okay, look, the game came out, buy it. Oh, look, now you bought it. Now it's on Game Pass or now it's on Spartan or whatever the system is called. People are going to be pissed, but then there's also going to be the people who didn't buy the game, get it for free, love it so much that they're like, I want ownership of this game and go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
And,
And at the end of the
and
day,
so because of that, I can only imagine what's to come with Nintendo and possibly even Sega.
I mean, speaking of Nintendo,
well, Sega.
speaking of Nintendo, like, I mean, it's completely different when it comes to like mergers, but whatever. There's been rumors that Mario Kart 9 is coming out, and a lot of people are thinking that it's not going to be even called Mario Kart. It's going to be called Smash Kart or whatever the heck, because they're going to consolidate all the other characters into Mario Kart. Because
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
They already tested that with like the Inklings and all that.
So you want Samus we get Samus in there. We get what is it like?
Diddy Kong Racing, all those characters.
Oh, Diddy Kong. Heck
Dude,
yeah.
all of it. They could have their version of Super Smash Brothers, but in Mario Kart.
What's that old ass meme?
But then they would have new items in there.
Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Super Smash Kart.
And I told you guys this before, and I'm gonna let everyone else know what I'm hoping for when it comes to Mario Kart 9 is I really hope that they give you the option to switch between regular racing and Double Dash. Because Double Dash was, I'm sorry, the most broken Mario Kart game of all time.
The best one.
The best one. The fact that you can hold an item, switch characters, and hold on to that item until it's a critically needed item, that was the best option ever. And I love single racers too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Mario Kart 8, but it's outdated in the sense that every other game, regardless of the type of game that it is, gives you different options of different versions of the game that you can play.
Yeah.
Right?
So Dash was the friendship ending simulator.
So now imagine Mario Kart where you have single racer, double dash, battle, whatever the other mini games are, and then imagine this where it's like.
And they're very well.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point, which I can like. It's gonna seem super convoluted, but it's like. It seems dumb, but when you're actually doing it with people in person, it's gonna be hilarious. Because I can imagine if you're doing double dash battle, and you have to use 2 controllers on one cart. So it's like, chaotic. I'll drive for the first minute, and you use the items, and then when we switch, chaotic has to take over the controls. So it's like, dude, let me drive. No, you drive. No.
That was a feature in Double Dash.
What?
Yeah.
His mouth
So
just
I
dropped.
didn't. I didn't. I swear I didn't know that because you know I didn't. I didn't have GameCube
That
back
was a
then.
feature in Double Dash.
Because
Yeah.
we went to
I
your house, Chaotic, when we played Double Dash.
Yeah.
We
That
went to
was
your
that
that's
was
house.
the thing.
awesome.
I was a
I really
GameCube
hope they
man.
bring that back. I really hope they bring
But
that back.
no, I just
Well,
Oh,
had a
they have
crazy
they have
idea.
to because
Hold on, hold on.
well, what's
I,
the next thing you can do in Mario Kart 8? That's a size up, right? You have to size
I
up for
an
that.
item that gives you the extra driver for 30 seconds or whatever that time, right? You're single driving, like you can have
Why
it
not
more.
just make it a whole new
No, because then it
thing?
changes the tactics entirely, right? You have to get it from an item box. You get an extra
Wouldn't that
driver.
make it more convoluted because of the fact that
No, that makes it that
if
is
you're making it into Smash Kart, then that means you're gonna have to add significantly
that's
yeah.
what
more
you
You get a
want.
drivers.
random driver. How awesome is that? Random driver with their special ready to go.
Okay, so you want random driver for 30 seconds, or do you just want the whole double dash feature?
I want Double Dash.
Well, I'm going for the
Both.
double
I
dash
mean,
feature.
mode, right? But if you're gonna play
Why
like
not
with
both?
story
Or
mode,
if no,
yeah,
let's do both. Yeah, like you have the whole mode, and then
yeah,
when you
yeah. But like
randomly, it's a
let's say you're
separate
playing
item.
single player, right? You're going through the Grand Prix, right? You
Yeah.
get your single driver. Everybody starts single driver, right? Then as a rare drop for the items, you get your partner in the back
Right.
with their
Okay.
special,
Okay.
a random
That's
partner
exactly what I was
in
just
the back.
thinking.
That was
Yeah.
my idea.
Yeah, that was my idea.
No, it's your idea now. I'm taking
also,
medicine over here.
I can imagine Kirby being in the game too, and
Yeah.
his
Is
like
that
I can imagine
I'm
like
sure
is
there's
he
some
like
crazy
Kirby in the
shenanigans.
his
rain where he's like
special
on the
his
star?
special is like you can see someone. You know how they have that one item where it gives you every single item that's spinning around you. I can imagine like
Oh, the lucky
I would
charm.
hate being around Kirby because Kirby just uses his absorption and like sucks up any power up that you're
Yeah,
using.
I mean,
So let's say
there's
you even have
infinite
a star.
possibilities.
Let's say you even have a star and you're like about to run over him because he uses his spell. Like he just and like sucks up your star and it takes it away and you lose your power up. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, we
Also,
speculate all day.
yeah, we can sit here all day
I
and talk
mean,
about video games.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of
one
I'll
thing
bring
one
it back
the reason I'm bringing up Kirby is because the new trailer came out a little while ago,
the new Kirby.
and
Yeah.
we were completely wrong. It's not an open world game.
It's like
It's
Mario
a Mario Odyssey style game, and I think that's even better than an open world game. Don't get me wrong, I love open world games now,
Sandbox.
thanks to you guys. Sandbox, whatever, open world doesn't matter.
No, it's
Um,
Hey,
Sandbox.
Fallout then.
potato. You know, it's not the same thing, but in a sense, it is. There's only a couple instances that make it so much different, right? Um, but they made it a Mario Odyssey style, right? And Mario Odyssey was pretty much one of the biggest games of Nintendo Switch, right?
I love that.
So
10 out
The
of 10.
biggest.
and the one thing that's bad
It's
about
like
like
biggest game.
open world slash sandboxes is that there's a bunch of filler. There's a bunch of open space where there's actually nothing to do. You're just,
Final Fantasy 15.
oh, look, an item. Oh, look, an item. Oh, here's some random bad guys over here.
Oh,
No,
piece of
now you're
candy.
having,
Ooh,
huh?
a piece of candy.
Yeah, oh, piece of candy. Exactly. And Mario Odyssey for what it was amazing.
It
And
was, absolutely.
the amount of like open space that there was didn't feel like it was a bunch of it because it was different worlds and there were so many objectives to do in the game.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
there were
you
many
made an
little
excellent
moons
point
that
right
you can
there.
collect, even for the very minuscule tasks that you
I
have.
don't, I don't, I don't think even if they remove that, I think Maudi made a great point about it being a different world, right? With Mario, you have such distinct characteristics in the type of world, the lands that
Yep.
they have,
Yep.
where it doesn't matter. You can have a bubble, and as long as like let's separate into a pie chart, for example, right? If each section of the pie was a different world, you would have fun exploring because you can go to the piece of the pie that you want and just look at it and just
Yep.
appreciate the world,
Yep.
right? And be like, this is
Yeah.
beautiful because they
Yep.
make it beautiful,
Like
and
when you
that's
get
the
out of
point.
the vault in Fallout, you're just like, wow.
Yeah, that
and-
first initial wow, right?
yeah.
Fallout's a bad example because it the original games have that overlay where it makes it look like all that green shit, But you go because of the different cities and settlements stuff like that. But in terms of what Marty said, it's like if Kirby doesn't go that route, which they easily could because they have the same structure as Mario where they have different worlds and different levels. They can easily separate that open world environment where it's like even if there's nothing here, look at how pretty it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Are
know,
you not
and
Yeah.
entertained?
pretty
And
much.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we can only hope for when it comes to the new Sonic game, right? We saw a snippet of it. It was pretty much just a teaser of Green Hill, right? And
Was it Green Hill?
there was
No, it wasn't Green Hill.
What
was it?
No,
What was it then?
it's an entirely new environment. They don't. That was the
Well-
whole point. Is that it's this mystic. You can, at best, you can say it's like mystic ruins.
Mystic Ruins.
I mean,
I mean, why,
Have the
why,
whole
why,
the,
why,
the whole
why
finger
wouldn't they
pop.
do Green Hills, right?
because they do it all the time, and people hate that they do it all the time. And
True.
maybe they're taking some criticism to heart for once in their life, and be like, you know what?
But the problem
Let's give the fans what they
the
want.
problem is with the Sonic games that judging how fast Sonic moves is that you're gonna have to make the open world significantly bigger. But can they put enough stuff in between the points to entertain the player?
Not
You know what I mean?
honestly, not necessarily. I don't think that they need to make Sonic this supersonic. I mean, yes, he moves fast, he runs fast, and that could be part of your fighting style. But I don't think they're gonna necessarily make it. So you're not gonna want to play a game where you just they made that game already. Nobody, I
And it
mean,
sucks.
and then it sucked. So I can imagine, like, yeah, you're gonna be moving pretty quick, but it's still gonna be a like the speed to land is gonna be good enough to where it feels comfortable. Where you're not
So
like I'm
so
moving too fast, I'm getting to this area too fast, but I'm also not getting there too slow. I'm getting there at just the right pace,
so
right?
more like
And then when it comes to a battle, you have you know the good abilities that they had from the other games. Like which one was it where you're running down and then
like
it was the first one that they had on the GameCube, I think, that you
Sonic
loved.
Adventure 2
Chaotic.
battle.
Huh? No, not the battle one where you're fighting.
No,
It's
that
the
was the
one
first one they
not
had.
Sonic Battle, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Sonic Adventure, I
That's what I
think, where
said.
the first one is where you're running down the street and you're like, that
Rolling
one.
around at the
Exactly,
speed
exactly.
of
That one.
sound.
So that one, the fighting style in the game, from what I remember, was actually really good.
I was gonna
So
mention
if
that,
they
and
can interpret, if they can bring in that fighting style
Or the
with the open world,
speed of
world,
right?
exactly. If they
Yeah.
can make the open world movement and pacing of traversing through the land really well with that fighting style, it can be an amazing game.
yeah, and I
It's
was gonna bring.
possible
Hold on,
because hold on. It's possible because of the fact that you had stages with Tails and Eggman, which was basically a
that was
sandbox
Sonic Adventure.
2 battle.
Well, I
The,
mean, I want to.
the Tails
I was gonna
or the
say
Rouge
because
and the
that's the
Rouge and
complete
Knuckles
opposite of
stages.
what he's talking about.
What do you?
He's talking about fluidity and speed. You go with the Eggman and Tails of stages,
Okay,
it's the complete opposite.
okay,
It's a
then
snail's pace.
okay, well you can also have Knuckles and Rouge's stages where they freaking run as
No,
fast as Sonic.
no. They have multiple video essays on YouTube. This has been a freaking almost what 15 years debate. Like this is old news. You want to go listen to that debate? Go look it up on YouTube. All right, I'm not gonna rehash that here.
Well,
But
I've
the
never
point
seen it,
that
so you're gonna have to.
I'll link
No,
it
no,
to
no,
you
no. We don't
at the
need to get
post.
into that. Go
No,
I'm
look
not
it up
gonna
on
get
your
into
own.
that.
Look
I'll
it up
post it
on your
to
own.
you
Do your own
after.
research.
We'll put in the
No,
description or
we're
something.
having a podcast
No, I'll
now.
put in this. I'm the only one that actually went and watched this shit, so I'll link it to you guys later. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make that Maudi already said was that it's more about not trying to be too fast, right? Even you said it, Taco, where it's like, you don't need to be fast enough. You don't need to be the Flash, right? What they did right in Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure 1
Mm-hmm.
was that they made the characters really light, right? So even though you weren't running at full speed, you were really fast in the overworld, right? But in Sonic Adventure 2, what they did right was they set the motion blur with the rest of the stage to make it feel dynamic, where you feel like you're going fast,
Ah,
but your
okay,
your model
okay.
isn't really going that fast.
Right,
Whereas
right,
in
right.
the
Okay.
linear rush game,
Or
the
the
rush
little
style
the
games,
seed lines coming at you too.
yeah, where you literally are
Okay.
actually moving at sonic speed, where you're crashing into everything, glitching out. That became a problem, and I think that's where they went too far. They need to bring it back to SA2,
Right.
where
Okay.
where
No,
they
no,
need
no.
to make it feel dynamic without making the models be like ridiculously light. You need to get
When you
that
put it that
balance.
way, like you're exactly right. Like, yeah, sure.
Because one of my favorite stages is Metal Harbor in SA2 battle, because you get that long stretch without a lot of
You get the
barricades, but
rocket.
you can finish that stage in under 2 minutes.
Hmm.
And it's not a it's a
It's more
short
like
stage, but it's not a small stage. There's a lot of nuance being able to maneuver through that stage quickly,
and
and
I
a
think the
lot of
hard
skill.
mode was like 2 minutes too, right?
hmm No, I mean the hard mode was to finish it under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to make is that, like, even though it's 2 minutes and it's a relatively smaller stage compared to some of the other ones, the amount of skill and the way it felt made you feel like you're going across an entire stage
You're
at
like
a
a
proper
speed
pace,
runner.
but you felt like you're going fast, and that's the whole point. But instead of them showing you that you're going fast, I'd rather have them make me feel like I'm going fast.
Exactly.
Okay, no, fair enough. Very, very well said. I have nothing against to say that. Like, if they can do that, then
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for.
And
And it's going to be
and
really hard with an overworld,
you
with
just
an
give the
open world track.
illusion that you're traveling far and
Yeah,
fast. But
yeah, they can simply do that with motion blur.
yeah,
but
yeah.
too
Yeah.
much makes it really
But yeah,
bad. Like
exactly, not too
And then
much.
lost my
Enough
fun.
to where when enemies pop up, you're like you
You
can
just
see them
dead.
clearly. Yeah, exactly. And my final question to you guys, um, two more things that I'm gonna ask you guys is
My final question plus two more.
final points. There's an S at that. We all talked about our opinions of Sonic the movie and what we thought was coming. And from the trailer, I know that we all loved it. We're all excited about it.
Best movie
Well,
2021.
what are your guys' thoughts on what they've shown so far, and how? What do you guys expect to see outside of what the things that we already know that are
We
in
all
the
of us
Best
called
movie
it.
2022, baby. Let's
All of
go.
us called it. It's gonna be Eggman. He's gonna trick Knuckles, and Knuckles is gonna whoop Sonic, and Sonic's gonna come back. We all called
so your basic original Sonic story.
Yeah, Sonic 3, basically. Literally just
This,
Sonic 3.
yeah, I called this. I don't
All
take
of us
credit for
called
this
it.
me again.
We
No,
called
no,
this.
We
no.
all
Go back.
no.
I
Hold on.
gave you a
this.
tit for tat
I
description of
will
what was
I will
gonna
give
happen.
this one to Chaotic. He
Sure.
specifically
but, I
said the
called it
things
too.
that were in
No.
the trailer. You and I both called certain things that might come, but
I
Chaotic
nailed everything.
he nailed it.
100%.
He nailed it perfectly. Every nail just bam, 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 hit it. So yeah, definitely excited for that movie. Gonna be
Sonic
the
got
Call me
best
Knuckles.
movie of
Unlike Sonic,
2022.
I don't truck
And
it.
I was even telling my coworker this because we were talking about video games, and I mentioned Sonic, and he said that he was kind of a fan, but he never watched the movie. And I said, dude, Sonic. I'm so proud of Sonic, the Sonic movie genre already, just because from the first movie that they did, outside of the horrible Sonic that they made in the original trailer that they obviously changed, they got it right on the first try.
Yeah, yeah.
In terms of movie, right?
Yeah.
In
Like
terms
not
of
just the
movie,
model, right? But the
Chaotic
movie.
yeah,
Look,
they
No,
got
very,
it right.
very
from the
faithful. Very
Yeah,
faithful.
and
like
and
the fish out of the water, or the fish out of the barrel.
and because of the fact that it's animation brought to life, the characters that surround outside of like just whatever characters they can throw in and out, it's never gonna like age outside of having to find a new chaotic Eggman. I mean, a new Eggman because obviously, Jim Carrey will eventually retire. But I mean, Jim Carrey playing Eggman is so beautiful. I love it.
Really good. Really good.
And the last thing is, I started watching it. I don't know if you've been watching it, and I know that you're excited to watch it, Eggman. Dota 2. No, well, not Dota 2, but Dota. Dragon's Blood.
season 2.
First season.
So-
Season 2.
Man,
Love the
I
first
must
season.
have an iron will, because I have not watched it yet, and it's not because I don't want to or that I couldn't.
Kill yourself now. No.
I watched season 1 by myself. Great for a Dota fan. Not so great for outside perspective. You know, it was mid tier. I'll admit. Animation was choppy. Storyboard was rushed. But as a Dota fan, I loved it. You know, it's always good to be represented.
Animation is better now.
I know they. I was like, I went to trailer. I was like, they fixed the noses. They fixed the nose.
I've been watching it. And it's
Oh,
good.
It's
It's good.
I'll say this. Like I've been want to watch it, but the good thing is, season 1 when it first came out last year, I showed my wife,
Mhm.
and she's known I played Dota. She knows about Dota. She knows all about Dota. I've been playing it for over 10 years. This is the first time I've ever seen her be excited about anything Dota related. Was when I showed her season 1 of Dragon's Blood. She was like, "Wait, who's this? What? They're doing this? Well, tell me, what's the story behind this?" I was like, "Lord time." Right? So
Who's
I
that?
had
Who's
so
that?
much fun showing her the show, and season 2 was announced, and I was like, "Oh my god!" It's like,
You're like, that mean,
I gotta watch.
And they're just
But-
bringing in so many more characters too.
I know. I
Like
saw it.
alone from what I've seen, there's for sure one new character who I can already imagine is going to become a new hero in the game.
Yeah,
And
we
name
did
was
last
Hero
time.
too. What's her name? The
Marcy.
Marcy, the mute chick.
Marcy, exactly. So they brought Marcy and they made her into
course they're gonna
a character in the game.
have
Now they brought in a newer character, and I was like, "Who the heck is this person?" Obviously, they said the name. I'm not gonna say it so that I don't spoil
Yeah.
anything for you. You're gonna know right away, anyways. And it's like, yeah, I can see this person being a character in the game.
I'm so happy that they're doing that because I want more original heroes. But for
Yeah.
season 2, man, I have not watched a single episode. I'm waiting to watch the Holding with My Wife when she's available to watch it. Haven't watched the first episode
And-
yet. I'm
and I
gonna watch season
complete-
2 with my wife just to enjoy that Dota.
Yeah, I
so
definitely get what you mean by that because thanks to Taco here. Before I get into this topic though, what do you think, Taco? Have you seen season 2?
I have not even started season 2. I've
Have you seen? But you've seen
yeah,
season
I've
one.
We
seen
season one together. We
Okay.
saw it at your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, we binge
I'm
watched
willing.
it the whole thing.
Taco, I'm willing. Whenever you feel like watching it, I'm willing to go downstairs and go watch it with you. I'll rewatch all of it with you so we can talk
Oh,
about it. And
absolutely.
once Eggman catches up, we can all talk about it. Maybe even
We could have a
not
game on
necessarily do an
nostalgia.
episode.
Maybe we can play some Dota.
We can play some Dota and talk about Dota.
Well, I suck at Dota, so
But I can completely agree with
Welcome to
you
the
on
trend.
that sense of the sentiment and the feeling of waiting for your partner to watch something with you, because Taco here actually he introduced us to Castlevania, and I saw that it came to Netflix, and obviously Taco was very excited because that's like his bread and his blood, like yeah,
right.
that's his everything. And he actually told my girlfriend about it, and she loves it, and we're heartbroken because of the fact that we literally are on the final episode of season 4, and there's nothing after that. I can only imagine that they can like make more of it and bring the new generation like Richter,
Play
but
the games.
one day, yes, one day. Um,
Welcome to
but
PC
I'm
Master
very
Race, where you can
grateful for
just
being introduced to Dota thanks to Eggman, and I'm very grateful to be introduced to Castlevania thanks to this guy Taco. Um, I don't know why I'm pointing because it's gonna look different to you guys than to me. So wherever that on the screen, thank you guys for
Oh,
everything that you guys have introduced me
hold on.
to.
Before we end
Um,
this,
yeah,
credit where credit is due. We're talking about Dota anime. You gotta give credit to Arcane.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Yes.
What a fantastic show. I like League
You
of
saw
Legends. I'm
wait,
not
you
a
saw
fanboy.
you saw League of
Dota's
Legends
always
Arcane?
better than League of Legends.
You saw
I'll
League
stick
of
to
Legends
that.
Arcane?
Absolutely, it
It
was a
was
fucking
so
chef's kiss. 10 out of 10.
good.
It was
It was
so good.
so well, what was his name? The
okay,
main
I
good
love
guy.
it. I love this. I love that now I have something else to look forward to because
Oh
now I need to
Watch
see what you guys are
Arcane.
talking.
that
I
Watch
will,
Arcane.
just like Taco is actually watching
oh
Full Metal
dude.
Alchemist from what I said to watch it, and he's loving it.
Watch
So
You
Arcane.
guys have to
Like,
yeah,
as a Dota
definitely.
fanboy,
Mowdy,
you
you
gotta give credit where credit
have
is
to
due.
watch Arcade.
I will. No, definitely.
It's
So
I'm
good.
I'm
and it's
probably gonna
so
watch that
good
tomorrow
and it's gonna
or this
break your
weekend.
heart.
I'll just
I'll just say this to
is it
hype you
on a
up.
streaming service or is it
It's on
online
Netflix.
only? It's
It's
on
on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll watch
I'll
it.
tell you
See if
this.
my girlfriend wants to see watch it with me
No,
too.
to make her watch it because she'll
What
love it.
what's
You
the
don't have to
difference?
be like for
Right.
us Dota fans. We love Dota because we love Dota, right? You don't have to be a League of
You know,
Legends fan
yeah,
to watch
that's
Arcane and enjoy
exactly
it.
the thing. That's what makes it
I'll
so
tell you,
good.
it
That's a good
released it.
thing.
That's a good thing. It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
that's what
But
makes it so good.
it released it in
It's
three episode pockets, right? And the
Yeah.
first 3 episodes, they could have released theatrically, and I would have wanted to see that. It's
oh
that
my
fucking. It
goodness,
could have
it's
been a
Wow.
movie.
so good.
So good.
You know when you say that, it makes me look back to the Pokemon series that they made. I forgot what it's called. Pokemon
Generations.
Origins or
Generations, where they just like fast forwarded all of Red and Blue into what
You're
8 episodes?
underselling Arcane with that comparison.
No,
No. But
no.
Underselling it.
that's the point.
Underselling it.
I always undersell so people aren't like expecting too much, and then they're never gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, but that's
And
only when you
but
question
here's
whether or
the
not they
thing.
can deliver. This delivers.
But so
This
did Pokemon.
introduces the League of
I'm sorry,
Legends.
but so did Pokemon. That
It's on
Pokemon
a
8.
whole different
No,
level.
man, I'm sorry. I
On a
love
Is
whole
it?
Pokemon.
different level.
I
Well,
love Pokemon.
I don't know
saying
because
I'm
I
not
haven't
saying it
watched it.
didn't. I'm
I
not
love
saying it didn't.
Pokemon, and I'm
But I'm
playing
saying
Arceus right now. I gotta give it to League of Legends
yeah.
Arcane.
Oh, definitely.
Oh
I
my
wouldn't doubt it.
I'll say I'm not saying that Pokemon like I'll agree with you. You know that was a Pokemon fan's dream in terms of animation.
right,
10 out of 10.
right.
This thing took it to 20.
Yeah, think of it this way.
It's that good.
All of the
It's
shows.
so good that even people who don't like League, who
What
probably are like F
is
League, like chaotic here.
I liked it.
um, Exactly.
the biggest League
Exactly.
hater liked it?
I liked
Yeah,
it.
Take it.
definitely,
was
What
good.
makes it
definitely.
okay? I just want to end it with what makes it.
And watch the whole thing
Yeah. What
and
makes
then
this?
come back to me and tell me why you think I liked it.
Yeah.
All right.
What makes it? Okay.
His reason is gonna be different than mine. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 2 reasons, but I can't say because obviously major spoilers.
All right.
No spoilers. What this does differently from anything else is for that's related to like another medium or like a video game or another piece of media is that it doesn't just jump in and assume that you know things. It takes a step back,
Yeah.
establishes the world, establishes what's going to go on from here on
You don't need to
out,
know anything.
and and establishes here and establishes what we're going to do and what the fight is about. And then it goes into the characters.
Nice. I'm loving it already. I'm
Just
Go watch
well,
that
yeah.
game
So I'm very excited to get into that. I'm very excited to
and watch Super
see.
Crooks. Sorry, I had to throw it in there. Super Crooks is fantastic. I love it.
I don't know what that
So
is.
yeah,
Go watch it. Netflix. Super Crooks.
I'll check it out too. Very excited for what the future has to come.
Mhm.
This year alone is going to be amazing for the gaming world and for movies and
Yeah.
everything that's beautiful in our lives that we love. Thank you guys again for joining me and us doing this. I'm enjoying it very much. Taco,
Great.
Eggman. Um,
I want to shout out my sister for watching all our episodes. Thank you.
Hey,
Shout
so
out to
yeah,
you.
thank you guys to our
Thank you, Sarah.
viewers and everyone who tunes in. Hopefully you're still part of us. Hopefully we didn't lose you, and hopefully for you new viewers, hopefully you subscribe and like and comment, and maybe we could talk about something that you're interested in, and we're always open to new
Yeah, leave a
discussions and
suggestion.
yeah, definitely. So once again, Taco, Eggman, thank you guys very much. You guys, fans, thank you and Kanpai.
Kanpai.
I finished mine.
So did I. A while
Me
ago.
too.
Guys, finish mine. Bye.
Peace.
Cheers.